December 2024. We're back to analyze some of the stories brought to you at 7 o'clock. We did say that please join us at 8 o'clock. So it's now time for us to analyze some of the stories. We'll pick a handful of them and then discuss, dissect them, speak to them in-depthly, and of course have your reaction as well too. So these are stories that are a big concern to Nigerians. Join us by calling live on 0807 777 9927 0807 777-9927 to drop your comments via WhatsApp or via live studio call. Don't forget as well too, let's say to you that we're streaming this program live, so you can watch us on our Facebook page at Flow FM NG. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Get on our channel, and because you can drop your comment as well too on those platforms. Let's get right into the conversation. I am Dayo Adeyemi.
And I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you for joining us.
And we have a regular voice this morning as well, joining us live, Nicholas Nwarunoye. Good morning to you. Or can we say Otutuoma?
Anyone of the two.
How do you respond when you say Otutuoma?
Hey, Otutuoma.
You respond by saying Otutuoma as well.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
All right, that's amazing. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. Well, kicking off with the first story, a really big one, talking about the World Bank. The World Bank's country director, Adeyemi Diop, has said that corruption is a big challenge to the country's economic development, and Nigeria is far from fighting institutional corruption. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I would say he's on point. Because the last time we had a movement, towards anti-corruption fight stopped at 2015. That's the simple truth. And the former president, President Goodluck Jonathan, when that issue of corruption was posed to him, he then said that, look, when they say corruption perception, you must be seen to be fighting it. And how do they measure your fight against corruption? It is not by randomly picking up young boys with computers and things like that, or just seizing assets willy-nilly, and all those things. No, there must be a framework for fighting it. Now, what the man did was he saw that, look, there are leakages within the governance system, the fiscal governance system. So he created IPs, GIFMIS, BVN, started under him. Then a lot of other institutional frameworks. Those things are meant to take the human hands away from all those areas of governance, allowing automations to take over, allowing computers to do the talking, because it is easier to track movement of money, movement of policies and things like that. Then, of course, the issue of data too. Your BVN came on board too. You have to capture how many people that are in the banking system, so that when you give contract and the contractor, you give it to an agency said this is the contractor that is doing it, then they submit their bank account.
How about the TSA?
The TSA too. You understand? Though it was poorly implemented, but I think they are getting back on track. So those are the kind of things that these institutional, bodies look at before they rate you as to whether you are good. You see, corruption is a human thing. It is not peculiar to Nigerians. It's not peculiar to Black Africa. It is a global issue. But you see, countries that grow decide, they know that they have that problem, so they create institutions to check it. So that is what these bodies are saying, that they are not seeing anything happening. Oh. And of course, they equally mention the issue of judiciary. And of course, that is how the judiciary and how we elect people. It must be transparent. And of course, we've been saying it, INEC here and there. The kind of policy that you enunciate, that you put in place, must be able to allow automation to decide. That is, it should be automatic. It's not, too much of human hands. Let's look at our voting system. You do voting at the distance, you collate it, you take it to one step. You see human hands in all those things. It's not automatic. If I vote at a polling unit, it's already all over the place. Everybody knows what everybody. So there is no manipulation that happens. There is no room for manipulation. But as long as you keep on saying that, it is so easy to manipulate the person that will be in office. Then you are going to have institutional corruption.
All right, Nicholas, I just want to ask you again. From a layman, some of these instruments of corruption that you mentioned earlier, game phase B, the BVN, the TSA, all of these things we put in place to fight corruption, and is what these bodies, for example, the World Bank and Transparency International, see and then give ratings. Now, you said, according to you, that it stopped last in 2015. Can you say that again, since 2015, there's not been any work done or improvement in some of these, instruments of corruption being put in place. And then we have this revelation coming from the World Bank again. On the other side, people will be like, these people are not really residents in the country like that, inroads to see what is actually happening. So how much of reliability or relevance do we place to some of their ratings sometimes?
Well, as long as their rating is what brings investors into your country, you have to take them serious. That's the truth. Now, let's not forget that even when, I said it right here on this platform, fairly recently, that, at some point when Jonathan was in power, you see a downgrade of, that is, the corruption perception for Nigeria, was on the upswing. We had a lot of pluses. You understand? From first, most corrupt, one of the most corrupt country after Bangladesh, we went to about 9th position or thereabout. How did he manage it? He managed it because of these institutions. And that was why our GDP grew, quadrupled. We had one of the biggest, the ratings were all over the places. It skyrocketed because a lot of investors wanted to bring in their business into Nigeria. So, but as long as you don't do all those things, don't say they have country residents. They have people who are here who do surveys for them. And they rely on your data for sake of crying out loud. You understand? So we have NBS, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. They rely on all those data and all those NGOs that have, all these fundings from, multilateral bodies. They are doing their surveys and all this, and they are remitting it to them. So let us not, these guys are properly equipped in studying, looking at your economy, looking at all those processes, looking at all those systems, and they compare it with what is happening elsewhere. So when yours falls short, they'll call you out. Now, look, if you want to see genuine improvement, genuine development, this is what you have to do. And honestly, we have to. And again, let us even look at it really, given what is happening in the country, really. Aren't we seeing examples of this issue of corruption and things like that? We're seeing it. Just a few days ago, we were making a comparison between a former governor who was who is in detention, and another human rights activist who was put in cuff. Those are optics. Those are the things that people see. This is for defamation. This is for stealing. You understand? So those are some of the things that we don't even need them to tell us that we are not really doing anything.
Well, just like you just said, he mentioned some of the few things that needs revamping, and one of them is reforming the judicial system. And you just mentioned the Farotimi case. Based off of the Farotimi's case right now, they are refusing his bail because of intimidation of witnesses.
One man intimidating witnesses. It speaks to all the issues we are talking about. In fact, in that report, he said there is this thing that was said that that was reported there, that the judiciary is more of an elitist thing, kind of. The elite tend to control it, and that's what you are seeing. You get a point. Now, you see, NBA came out specifically saying that the purported law with which you are trying this man is non-existent. You picked him up from Lagos that doesn't recognize criminal defamation. You understand? And Ekiti is said to have expunged it. You had this comments from legal luminaries and legal bodies, and yet. You are still going on with the process. You see, those are the things that somebody from outside Nigeria will say, do you really have a law in Nigeria? Which one do we rely on? One is saying this thing does not exist, and that was the basis of his case. That when you look at his preliminary objection, that you have no business bringing me here because the law under which you are trying me does not exist. That is his contention. So you see, unless we have, law must be so clear-cut that even if you want to go against it, you are going to lose, and the court will come down hard on you for even bringing up those frivolous, things to,
Now, is it not known to the judge in Ekiti State or the chief judge in Ekiti State, and how much of intervention can the Attorney General of the Federation, Senior Advocate, and Minister of Justice do in this instance right now?
There is absolutely nothing they can do.
There's no intervention.
What intervention can he?
And again, because if you say there's no intervention, then on what grounds is this being held back?
You see, the point I'm trying to make is that, look, you see, there is so much lacuna in our law system. You have the federal law. The National Assembly makes a law, then it has to be domesticated by states. Then even if it is domesticated, then you have the police on the other hand, the prosecution agencies, the law enforcement agencies pretending not to know that the law that we are talking about, this is the new law, and the one you are prosecuting a person for is already extinct. It's no more in force. I'll give you a very good example: the issue of cybercrime law and the rest of them. Major part of it has been decriminalized by an act of the parliament. You understand that? Taking out the issue of when you say things and it's civil litigation that you go for. The only criminal content that is left in that is when you add pornography into it. No, but the police has been very, very deliberately slow in the uptake of these new reforms. They cash in on seeming, nebulous aspects of the law to pick people and, put them in the cooler. Now, there is this concept that is within the legal framework now, within the Nigerian, legal space, legal public space now, that is raising concern globally. It's called SLAP. That is a strategic lawsuit against public participation. It's a kind of lawsuit they know they can win, but they know that you don't have the money to get a lawyer. So they start that law, they put you in the cooler, from there all manners of intimidation happens, until you are forced to say, okay, I'm sorry, and things like that, and they let you go. It's a way of intimidating people from participating in public conversations. So, and a lot of people, and this thing is growing in lips. I was reading
but the Constitution says something different. The Constitution says a person shall be entitled to a lawyer.
Okay, the kind of lawyer you are talking about. We have the legal aid, for instance. How available are they? How available are they? What kind of what quality of lawyers do you have there in the first instance? These are people who are paid from public purses, and you know what it's like. Then you now have that kind of a person against a SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Do you know how much it takes to bring a SAN to a court?
There's going to be huge intimidation.
Very intimidating. So automatically you don't stand any ground. And don't forget, Nigeria, we are a cultural people. The moment you see an Awomolo or somebody like what was his name, Afebalo, and all those big people against a younger lawyer, of course, even the judge can be intimidated. So these are specific issues. It speaks to nuances that we need to work on. We need to create a system that doesn't look at those things. You see, when you go to the court and you see that big effigy, that image of justice, that woman, Lady Justice, what do you see? It's blindfolded.
Yes.
So what it says is that justice is blind to sentiment. So, but of course, what we have here is the justice system with eyes wide open, seeing sentiments and acting on it. That is the perception that we are seeing, and that is that is essentially what is happening that is what people are saying in Farotimi's case. It's not even about the substance of the matter. It's the perception that is so strong in the court of public opinion. So you see, justice must be seen to have been done. Is justice being seen to be done in his case? I'm not talking about whether he libeled or defamed the man. That is not the issue. That is for a competent court of court of law to decide on. But you see, the way you arraign him, the way you arrest him, it must be transparent. It must be shown that he's presumed innocent. Before it's the court that will pronounce him guilty. So that is what we are saying, and that is what those bodies are saying.
Now, how much of this would deter investors from coming in? And if in the case of the Farotimi and the judicial system, like it's been mentioned in the World Bank report here, will it have so much effects on the inroads that the president is making to have investors come into the country?
Oh, of course it will. You see, the thing is this. You see, investment, the economy is sensitive to changes, mood swings of somebody that is in power. So what it simply means is that if you don't have a governor, if you don't have a senator, 2, 3, 4 of them, or the president, you don't have their ears, your investment is not safe. Nobody puts money in there now because this book can be changed overnight. But an investor would rather put money where he knows there are institutions that protects his business. Look, England, UK, US, Canada, why do you have investment there? It's because investments are protected. Patents, for instance. California is the 8th largest economy in the world. What do they sell? Not oil, not gold, nothing. They sell patents from university. The 3-4 university are solidly behind the economic power in California. So the moment there is a discovery, they patent it, they market it, and they know it's safe. When Jonathan was fighting Boko Haram, when he was Goodluck Jonathan, under Goodluck Jonathan, when he wanted to procure arms from Israel, you understand, the United States stopped him from getting those because they said the technology that was used to get, behind all those things were from US. And US frowns at human rights record and things like that. And so you cannot. So when they sell it to you, they sell their conditions to you. You cannot sell our thing to a country that does not honor human rights and things like that. So you see the strength of law. So it's not even about it's not about the person. It's not about anything. So that is what law can do. When you have a transparent system, it ensures it ensures your business. It ensures your investment. It secures it.
All right. Before we move away from that conversation, this is to remind you that we're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook, and it's on Facebook at Flow FM NG and on YouTube at Flow FM 927. We're streaming on both platforms. You can go ahead and get in on the live action in the studio right now. Now, let's move to this conversation about, APC and PDP. I think the Adama breakfast has sparked a lot of conversation right now. And, APC is saying that there is no alliance between these two people, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Anambra Governor Peter Obi, will be potent enough to stop President Bola Tinubu's re-election in 2027.
Well, I don't know. Picking up from our conversation of yesterday, we talked about something like that. Well, with this, coming from, a big figure like the man who made a statement yesterday, and then we're saying that will this continue to burn till 2027?
We actually predict that it's going to continue. So
and it's surfacing this morning.
Yeah, exactly. You see, the thing is this. The truth is, I don't know where APC is getting that confidence from. Because you see, it's one of those uncertainties about our politics. Ordinarily, if we are going to go by the figures, you understand, they should be G3, and this could be a sign of being G3. Because we are talking of two people getting 6 million votes. Put them together, that's about 12 million votes, as against Tinubu's 8 million votes in 2023. So it's a no-brainer. He's a gunner. That is if we have to go by that. By the same token too, you understand, both people aligned in 2019, but was defeated by APC. But of course, there were lots of controversies about we are not using IRF, we are not uploading and things like that. You understand? So, you see, you are going to this conversation is going to continue. But a lot of people have been saying that even with that quality of opposition, if you have an alignment within the opposition party, you understand, if nothing is done to the electoral, laws, there is no meaningful electoral reform that allows votes to count meaningfully and be seen to have counted. The APC guy might be right, because at the end of the day, we might still have an abracadabra where everybody will still be screaming and shouting and and declaring of votes in the 4 o'clock by early morning and things like that. You're still going to have those controversies. You understand? So that is my point. Both of them know where they are speaking from. You understand? And you see, ironically, when you look at APC too, their calculation that brought them into power was the same thing. Is the same thing that the opposition is banking on. Don't forget, Buhari had always had his 12 million votes from the north. Is a consistent thing like the Northern Star.
Under the CPC?
Yeah, under the CPC, under ANPP. Constant. It was a constant. So the calculation was that, look, if we could bring a coalition from the south, principally the southwest, and maybe a splinter group from the east
south,
and
the south.
So they will be able to have their way. That was what they banked on. You understand? And they got away with it, and they won. You understand? They won fair and square. So let nobody delude anybody that this state APC won in 2015 fair and square. So now what we are saying is that our electoral that is our election must be that predictable. That is only when you have confidence. You understand? You make a prognostication that, okay, this guy has always had this vote. This one has also, if they come together, they should be able to pull something. Only for INEC to decide otherwise on basis you can't really put your fingers to. You understand? At the end of the day, cases are knocked out on technicalities. That is the problem. You see, so it's neither here nor there. While these people might have a point, and these people are speaking from the position of power, you hardly know where the thing will swing, because this is Nigeria.
All right, let's discuss a bit of politics, deeper. Between former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Just like my colleague mentioned, since their Adamawa breakfast, there's been a whole lot of reactions and speculations as to maybe these two will form an alliance. And how huge would that alliance be? First, with the cracks within the PDP rank and that of the Labour Party. Secondly, do you think the big nature of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar will cede to a vice presidential ticket to a Peter Obi? Or do you think, on the other side, a Peter Obi will want to play second fiddle to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar based off of his backings and his popularity?
No, let's look at it from this point. Let's hear those people speak.
I know this is just speculation.
Yeah, it's speculation. But you see,
and they may be true.
Yeah, no, they may be true. But you see, Obi has said something. He said it's not about him being the president. That is willing to work with anybody that has the genuine intention and proven capacity to run Nigeria.
Then why did he pick up the vice presidential ticket last election?
Last election, he knew he wouldn't get it in PDP.
A vice presidential ticket. Why did he pick it up again?
No, he couldn't get it in PDP in 2023 because you see, Wike was already on the move. He has seen the signs, so that was why he moved. In fact, at that time, he had already moved. In fact, that was one of the reasons why Olisame too left. Olisame too went and pleaded with the PDP that he's been here for a long time and he knows what Wike is trying to do. That look, Peter Obi is his senior in school. He's a very consistent man. And if you allow that man to leave, that we are going to lose. PDP is going to lose. That they shouldn't allow him to leave. You understand? So if there had been a concrete, arrangement that he was going to get a VP slot, probably he wouldn't have left. But he saw the signs. He knew that Wike had already amassed a lot of resources, to splinter the party, because he couldn't get the presidential ticket. And Wike not getting the presidential ticket was working to get Atiku to pick him as his deputy. You understand? It was all over the places. You understand? So those were the issues that was why he had to move. You understand? And then again, you see, I see that movement a blessing in disguise. You understand? So both of them tested their strength. Everybody has seen their strength now. This is a very that is when you bring the two of them together, it's potentially huge. You understand? So now an electoral process that will now explain how those 6 million magically disappeared in 2017 who has a hard job. You will have the difficult job to explain to Nigerians how it happened. It's so easy now to say that because
Nicholas, these figures are not constant. They are subject to change and moods. And you might get 6 million. You might not be able to garner 6 million the next time.
You're right, absolutely. But you see, that is what we are saying. Let us look at it on the social media, on the platforms, on different separate platforms. Have you seen a waning in the popularity of any of these candidates?
No.
And the government in place is not even doing things to assuage confidence because of its policies. So at what point, and the thing is that you only have 1 year once you win. 1 year. After 1 year is re-election. That is the Nigerian politics for you. So it's an unwritten rule. You have only, the moment you are voted in, you understand, from the word go, people start judging you. What happened to Buhari? When he came in with all the expectations, 6 months there was no ministerial appointment. Everybody lost faith. The economy tanked, and the rest is history. And we've been struggling since then, trying to find a solution here and there. That's the thing. You know, like I said, but again, like you rightly said, politics is just like biscuits. When you break it, you don't know where, you don't know the line
crack.
to follow. So, so
All right. Well, just let's add to this conversation, this last story, before we round off on the analysis this morning. Well, I think the House of Representatives has expressed concern over the ongoing cash scarcity in commercial banks across the country. And apparently, this is the Yuletide season, and now we're having cash scarcity again.
A lot of Nigerians will run for cash. Is this something that happens annually? Because if you look back,
we had a situation like that not long ago where there was barely any cash in the economy.
Well, maybe two things really. You know, there is a cabal now that deals in cash merchants. They sell naira. That's what they do. They try to, you see, the moment you create, the thing is this, when you create a system that is not transparent, people tend to hijack it, hoard, that resources to bring artificial scarcity. What I think is happening is artificial scarcity. Of course, there will be demand for cash because of travels and the rest of them. So you are going to have that. Then Nigeria, because of, this upswing in, all these POS activities, more of online transaction and things like that, they are cutting back on cash printing. You understand? To produce naira is very expensive. So they are cutting down on it, and they want Nigerians to rely more on
e-commerce.
Yeah, e-money.
E-commerce,
e-money, e-transactions. So that's what they want now. I recall while coming back from Oka, I had that same problem to trying to get cash. And in fact, over there, for 5,000 naira, you get it for how much here? 100 naira. Over there is about 200 naira. Yeah. It's Anambra is a cash carrying economy, really. So Anambra East, most of East is a cash carrying economy.
But how popular and how much growth have we had as to, the e-commerce, e-transaction thing? Because
how reliable is this as well? Because recently, there's been a lot of complaints about commercial banks having that it kind of hangs. You're trying to make an immediate transaction and it's not.
Volume of traffic. Don't forget, the volume of traffic. That's number one. Determines how it tests the integrity of such platforms. With more people forced into taking on this e-transaction thing, you are going to have more people. And what is the backbone? What is the capacity of all those things that we're talking about, all those platforms we are talking about? Then don't forget that you see the internet infrastructure is still putative largely in Nigeria.
So if they know this, why force people to solely depend on e-transactions when you can balance the two, use cash and also be able to use e-transactions?
Well, see, you are saying the ideal thing, really. That is the thing. But of course, you and I know that Nigeria, we tend to put the cart before the horse. I expected that there should have been a reinforcement of the infrastructure before you roll out that policy. You understand? It's just like the tax bills too, that people who are hungry, people who don't have job, you are planning on taxing them. That is largely what is causing the problem. So that is.
Well, I hope we have more time to discuss this cash crunch and all of these things.
Yeah.
Because e-commerce, this is a period, and of course, a lot of Nigerians are interested.
Oh yeah.
Nicholas, thank you for coming this morning. Again, we had a wonderful conversation this Wednesday morning. Sure, we'll have again tomorrow, Thursday.
Most definitely.
I am Adedayo Adeyemi.
And I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you for joining us and sharing in your wealth of knowledge.